Good. Now, in the first part of this lesson, we have looked at different persuasive techniques that are most convincing. And can you remind me which ones do you remember? Yes, Jane? Good. The emotion appeal. The emotion appeal has been used in that particular video we have watched. Yes, another one. We also have the logic appeal, and we have the credibility appeal. Now, authors usually use these techniques to communicate, to ensure they achieve their goals. Now, depending on how an author uses these ideas or these techniques, we are able to determine whether to accept what they are saying, reject, or possibly think about doing more research about it. Because if the author fails to do the right job, then it's upon us, we take it upon ourselves to do and conduct more research. So that is why we need to understand these techniques. Now, the article that we just read in the last lesson about school fees can be convincing or not, depending on the author's use of these techniques. And now that's what we are going to look at these techniques today as we go through this particular article. And we are going to have the first part of this article, the excerpt from this article right now on Padlet. So let's just go to Padlet. I'm going to share it. And we are going to read it again. We read it yesterday. Today we will read the entire article. And you will agree with me, we'll see more, we'll discover more insights about this article today. Because now we are looking at the techniques that the author has used. Yesterday, we were basically trying to find ideas. We were talking generally to see whether his ideas appeal to us or not. But now, today we want to find why did we think the ideas are appealing? Why? Did he use some unique tips? If yes, then we need to find out these tips in this article and then learn how we can incorporate it in our own texts. Right? Yes. Now, let's read the first part. Good. Very good. Now, we are going to look at how the author structured each sentence. Let's start by looking at the techniques the authors used. Let me look at let me also have my copy here. Let me share it on my laptop. Just a minute. Good. Now, let's go to it. I hope you can see it. I've shared it using my laptop. Also, there are some few technical issues there. So now you can see it. And let me read it on my laptop. Parents with learners reporting to junior secondary school say they are not ready to pay extra school fees, even as they demanded an increase in capitation. Yeah, that's the first paragraph. And from this particular paragraph, can you find the persuasive technique used? Just borrow some ideas from the warm-up lesson, what we watched, how we discussed. And remember, we talked about emotion, we talked about logic, and we talked about credibility. Yes. Yes, Kevin. Very good. Very good. Now, the first paragraph, the author uses emotion appeal. Very correct. Because if you look at the structure of this particular article, you see the author is saying that parents are not ready to pay extra fees even as they demanded. Now, it brings the idea that they don't have the resources. And it brings the idea that they love education, they would love to see their children go to school, they have even sacrificed and set aside some part of their limited resources for school fees. But now the government seems to be demanding that they pay. Okay? So they are not refusing to pay. So there are people who are law abiding, people who are patriotic, they are good people, people who are willing to sacrifice. But at each moment they are saying we are not able. So it brings the ideology, the idea that these people do not have the ability. So the author is appealing. Or even the original speakers are trying to appeal to the government to understand their plight. In other words, the author is appealing to our emotions. So that is, the technique used there is emotion appeal. It is appealing to our emotion. And in that regard, the author is succeeding at making all of us feel like the government is unfair and should act to rescue these poor but patriotic parents. Now, let's continue. Let's somebody, Susan, go on and continue reading. I see any other technique used. Yes? Yeah. The logic appeal, correct. That's correct. Because I can see they are saying the 1.2 million children are sitting to be saved. So the author is saying these parents are not able to pay school fees for the 1.2 million statistics used. And these statistics paints a picture of the kind of burden these parents are going to shoulder. Of course, the truth is, a parent might just have one child, and he or she is required to pay fees for that particular child. However, the kind of idea the author is bringing here is that these are very many children, and these poor parents have to shoulder this particular burden. Now, that is what we call the logic. Logically, it's very difficult to bear such a burden. Very correct. I can see you are right. Let's continue and go to read the next part. Okay, yes, that part. Last week, at a stakeholders meeting to discuss the SSS at the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, KICD in Nairobi, the issue of fees was discussed. Oh, good. From that sentence, what do we see? What kind of technique is the author using? Very good. That is the credibility appeal. How? Who can explain? Credibility appeal. Who can explain?